Hey everybody! I recently got this amethyst pendulum from one of my Goddess Provisions boxes, and in the comment section of the video a lot of people were interested in pendulums and how they worked and how to use them and so on and so forth. I do want to preface this by saying that a pendulum has nothing to do with magic or the universe or anything like that. A pendulum is 100% moved through thought, and your subconscious mind is what provides the information for it. So you don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to put your faith in anything except for yourself. And I think that's what's really cool about it. You can choose pendulums that have some sort of crystal attached to them. So things like quartz variety crystals, whether that's any type of quartz or even amethyst. Quartz is a strong amplifier of energy, so it doesn't have to be necessary to use quartz or any type of crystal for a pendulum, but there are different stones or crystals you can choose to help with that. But you don't need any type of crystal, you don't need anything. You can make your own pendulum just by tying anything with a weight onto a string. So as long as you have the string and you have a weight just to give it something to really, move, that's all you need. I have two. I got this one in New York at like a crystal magic kind of store. I don't know what those types of stores are called. I just call them magic stores, but I think there's a real name for them. I don't know. Tell me, what kind of shop is that? And then I got this one. This is an amethyst with a garnet, I believe. I got this from the Goddess Provisions box in, I think it was January. Oh, this one, by the way, I think is supposed to be obsidian, but I don't think it actually is. I really don't know what this is made out of, but whatever. Like I said, it doesn't have to be anything. I just like how it looks. So you can buy these at any type of crystal shops or, those types of stores that sell like tarot cards and all those cool things. Or you can get them online too, or you can make them. So whatever. It's up to you. And I feel like I'm going to be reiterating this point throughout the video. The main trick and like the whole point of using a pendulum is to keep your mind clear and to not think about the answer. You don't want to think about which way you want it to move or which way you think it will move or which way it should move or anything like that. You don't want to think about the answer whatsoever, and that's going to be the trickiest part, and I'm going to get into that later, but like you need to know that is the most important part and the hardest part of using a pendulum. So when you first start using a pendulum for the very first time, if you're using a crystal pendulum like an amethyst or a quartz or any type of crystal, you want to clear the energy of the crystal. There's a lot of ways that you can do that, but then you also want to clear your mind. So something that's really easy to do is just like a 10 or 15 minute centering meditation. Just get yourself comfortable, get yourself relaxed, close your eyes, and just visualize like a peaceful place or like your favorite place to be, and really visualize yourself being there. And the whole point of this is to clear your mind of any thoughts. So if you start to think about anything, you visualize those thoughts as, like, some people visualize their thoughts as clouds floating away or bubbles popping and disappearing or something. Just as long as you are visualizing yourself at peace with no thoughts bothering you. And if you know which questions you're going to be asking your pendulum before you start, you can write those down so you don't have to be thinking about those or worrying about those either. I think that's a really good idea to just keep yourself focused. You can use meditational aids like candles or incense or crystals. It's not necessary or really important, but it can help, especially if you're into that kind of thing, and especially if there needs to be any kind of energy being cleansed. Having incense around will help with that a lot. But just for when you're starting your pendulum, the first thing you're going to want to do after clearing yourself is to learn how to hold it the right way. So you don't want your elbow to be like flopping around. You want to ground your elbow or your forearm. I use my knee, so when I use it, like, the way I am comfortable is like cross-legged, sitting down. Some people say that you need to put your feet flat on the ground. I don't really believe in that. I think you just need to get yourself comfortable, but do whatever works best for you. But I just have my knee up, and then I'll rest my forearm or my elbow on my knee. And then that way I have like a really good, like, secure position for my arm. If your hand is a little bit shaky, that's okay. That's not going to affect it so much. Just make sure your whole arm isn't being shaky and loose and willy-nilly. Like, secure yourself. Once you're holding it, you want to establish the signals, meaning which way is it going to move for yes, which way for no, and which way for maybe. And there's other signals that you can set. You can do things like I don't know or ask later. Most people, myself included, I just do yes, no, and maybe, and I keep it pretty simple. So you can set the signals yourself. You would say something like, this means yes, and then you would intentionally move it to the way that you want it to move for yes. You would say this means no, and then you'd move it the way you want it to move for no. You can do up, down, side to side, clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever feels best for you. Or you can let the pendulum choose, which when I say that, obviously the pendulum doesn't have a brain. Realistically, you're letting your subconscious choose, because your subconscious mind is what's actually going to be moving the pendulum while you're using it. It's a little bit more time consuming, but some people prefer that, just because if you're communicating with your subconscious during this time, your subconscious is what's giving you the answers. Some people think that letting your subconscious decide where it moves will be better. I don't know. It's up to you. It's totally up to you. Do whatever works best for you. If you want the pendulum to choose, you would hold it the right way and you would say, show me yes. And then wait. And wait and wait. And it can take a few minutes. It can take 10 minutes. If you don't want to wait that long, you can say it again, show me yes. And then wait a couple minutes. If it still isn't choosing, you can move on to no, maybe, I don't know, whatever else, and then come back. Once you've established the signals, you're going to want to verify them. So in this step, you're going to be asking questions that you know the answers to already. Very simple questions, just to make sure that the yes actually means yes, the no actually means no. You get it. So for me, I would ask something like, is my name Ashley? And I would see like, oh yeah, cool, yes, awesome. And I would keep asking questions. You want to ask yes and no questions. I prefer to ask questions. Some people prefer to make statements. So by that I mean, like, I would say, my name is Ashley, and I would see if it agrees or disagrees. Essentially, it does the same thing. It just really comes down to personal preference, what feels better for you. Once you've verified that the signals are correct and you can trust your pendulum with the right answers, you can move on to asking like legitimate questions that you want the answers for. This is where it's like very, very important, again, that you do not think of the answer whatsoever in your brain. You do not want a yes or a no happening anywhere in here. So if it helps to write the questions down so you can just visually look at them and focus on just the question and wait for the answer from the pendulum, maybe that'll help you. But it's gonna take practice. It's gonna take a lot of practice, at least for me. Maybe it won't for you, but for me, it takes a lot of practice to really focus. You also want to be as specific as possible with the questions, and if you're not getting a pretty clear answer from your pendulum, you can rephrase and ask again. And you want to avoid asking for opinions. So you want to avoid asking questions like, should I do this? Instead of asking like, should I questions, ask something like, is it in my best interest to do this? You also really should not rely on your pendulum to answer questions involving ego or emotions. It's incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to use a pendulum when you're emotionally invested in something. At the end of each question, after your question is answered, you want to clear the pendulum. I will just plop it in the palm of my hand, let it come to a complete rest, and then start again, and then that signals that your question has been answered and that you are ready to move on. A pendulum can be a really good tool for a lot of different things. It's not even just about asking questions. You can use it to help you find something that you've lost. You can use it to recall your dreams. You can use it to test for chakra imbalances. You can use it to test for negative energy in a living space. You can use it for decision making, which is probably more common. And you can use it to learn about yourself. You can ask it if you're a good person. You can ask it if you're living out your true purpose. You can balance your chakras, like I think I said before, just by holding it over each one and asking if it is in balance. And then that way you can kind of, go from there and fix what needs to be fixed. So in my opinion, the pendulum is a really great tool for a 1,000 different reasons. There's an infinite amount of things that you can use it for and find out. And if you look into the history of pendulums and how they've been used in the past, like it's not just a new thing at all, and it's not like a coincidence that it like works for people. Like, it's been known consistently to help people with a lot of different things. There's a use for everybody, and if you're interested in it and if you want to put the time into working with it and learning about it, I say go for it. When you're not using it, by the way, keep it protected, keep it safe. Depending on the structure of it, a lot of people actually fasten it to a neck chain and wear it around their neck, which is a really fantastic idea, so it can really get in tune with your body's energy. I don't know how the fuck to do that without making it look stupid, so I just have a little pouch that I keep mine in, so keeps it nice and safe, keeps it away from dust and all that stuff. And you can put this like in your purse or in your bag and just like keep it with you generally. Of course, if it's like on your neck, that's probably better, but I don't know how the fuck to do that. If you can't find a shop that sells these, try online. If you don't want to do that, seriously, you can just make your own. Just tie a rock to a string if you want to. It does the same thing. You don't need a crystal, but like I said, a quartz variety crystal can sometimes help a little bit. I hope I answered some questions. I hope I explained things well. I have no idea. I'm not a good teacher. I'm really interested in this kind of stuff, so I really want to do more videos like this. I hope this helped somebody. I hope this inspired somebody to start using a pendulum, because they're great. They really are great. And I really am so fucking stoked that Goddess Provisions sent one out. I think that's fucking fantastic. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.